London is to Sydney what an older, wiser grandparent is to you. By 2036, London's population will reach 10 million people and Sydney's will only reach 6. Both cities will see a growth of 1.5 million people over the next 20 years. London and Sydney share similar population growth patterns. We can compare London's east with Sydney's west and analyse what strategies are cities implementing to provide community amenity in anticipation of population growth. The eastern borough of Newham hosted the Olympics in 2012. The Olympic development is interesting because its park and rec facilities alleviate population pressures. Newham is characterised by a young, growing population, strong cultural demographic and high rates of poverty. It is physically isolated, socially and environmentally deprived. A 200-hectare brownfield site was identified in the London Plan as the place for regeneration. The council used the development as a catalyst to regenerate the area and support growing population projections. The project demonstrates how it can adapt to service the needs of a changing demographic in an urbanised environment whilst increasing quality of life. All Olympic venues have since been opened to the local community, supporting housing, employment and social amenity. As such, there are 5 sport facilities, 8 housing estates, 2 business regions, 5 educational facilities, 100 hectares of green space, clean waterways and additional transport implemented on the site. But what are the implications for this on population growth? This can be tested using the GLA's SRF Action Plan, which promotes physical, social and economic change for the eastern boroughs in maintaining population growth. Its aims are listed here. Regeneration of the park solves a myriad of population pressure problems such as employment, education and quality of life, which we will now discuss in detail. Number 1. Employment and education. Prior to the development, unemployment in the east was double the national average, close to 10%, and 22% of working age residents had no qualifications. An increase in qualifications will lead to an increase in skilled labour, which will balance the worker to retiree ratio. Chobe Academy, for example, has increased grades in the A to C range by 4% in the SRF plan. An increase in education can break familial trends of the area. Number 2, green infrastructure. Boris Johnson stated that the value of green and open space should be at the centre of choices we make to promote economic growth and social well-being in a growing society. Pictured here is a map of the Lower Lee Valley which demonstrates the ALGG as described by Johnson. Newham is expected to see growth over the next 20 years, and equal and attainable quality of life for these citizens must be provided to promote healthy population growth. Key to the strategy is using green and rec space to support healthy lifestyles. In 3 years, the development has improved life expectancy, maintained fertility rates, and increased physical activity. Number 3, social equality. London is a polarised city. Differences between the wealth and poor must be bridged. 300,000 residents need the resources and tools to be educated, employed, happy and not government dependent. As such, the delivery of the park has made for a better Newham, and it is with the poverty line in mind that the SRF can be actioned. But what are the barriers to successful implementation of this strategy? The GLA was willing to question, will the park balance the people, place, finance equation in generating vibrant local communities and economies? Can amenity transform East London and better connect the growth region? Can the development adapt to large population forecasts? Can park and recreation invite employment, increased education and affordable housing? And can this strategy be adopted elsewhere? Has this been achieved? And what can Sydney learn from this? The population pressures can be harnessed through amenities because of its multifaceted implications. Park and recreation can achieve a lot more by way of social intervention than just a place to play in. Successful development can stitch a city back together. Quality of life is equitably maintained through park and rec facilities. That green infrastructure is essential for dense population prospects and human factors. Development should be used as a catalyst for social change, which is priceless and advantageous. And a Greater Sydney Commission could mimic London's successfulness in managing urban growth. And that comprehensive development is paramount and must be facilitated quickly in order to support population growth.